All right, guys.
All right, fire away.
How did Harrison look yesterday?
Good. He looked good at practice. We're going to practice him again. It's day to day. Really, we get both guys ready, and we'll make a decision probably
How much comfort do you feel that maybe Harrison can go this week?
I feel good. He looked good as long as we don't have any setbacks. We'll just got to keep working him, and we'll see. We're not ready to say, yeah, he's in. We got to wait, but he looked good yesterday.
Specifically speaking, does he have his multiple step?
Yes, he's back to his normal steps.
Yep. Less swelling, no swelling.
Oh, that I can't speak to that really. I don't know. I don't know. You have to ask Rick that one. I don't know.
Just to be clear, there's no chance that he's not coming back this year, right? There's not like, we're looking at it and there might be surgery.
No, he's coming back. He's coming back. Yeah.
On
question.
From the game on Monday with Matthew on the 59-yarder, take us through all that decision making. Because I think before the game, I don't think he was kicking on that long. And you said before his range was way less than that.
I'll take you through it. His range was a 35-yard line in a regular game situation. And I told Andy that at the end of a half, like that situation, we could probably try to bang one, probably 38, 39-yard line, which would be like a 56-yarder. It ended up being 59. So it was like that questionable area. So, Andy called field goal. So we run out there, and then Pat came up and said, I could throw a Hail Mary from here. So that's what we called a timeout.
Right.
So that's what we call a time. Well, we weren't trying to freeze Matt. We were just calling a timeout to decide, do we really want to try this field goal, or do we want to go Hail Mary? And, they asked me, I said, he can make this. We had the wind at our back. That's why we deferred and kicked off the other way. So we had the wind at our back in the second quarter. Going into the halftime for that particular kick. So I said he can make it, and he came through. So that's what went down.
How much does for the distance do you have to hold? Does the guy like a different club, right? Like the different.
Yeah, it's a different spot on the ball. You have to hit it. You have to. You don't hit it as high. You want to hit it a little higher so the ball drives. You don't want to get underneath it to where it's going up short. So it's a little bit different, and he handled it great. It wasn't a high kick. It was a drive kick, and he put it down the middle, and it barely got in there, but he made it. It's unbelievable that he's got the record. It's pretty cool.
What was the emotion like? What did that do? Because
it was a big lift. It was a big lift for our team. 20-10 is better, and then we knew we were getting the ball in the second half, so we were all talking, hey, we get the ball in the second half on offense. Let's go down and score. 3-point game is as bad as that was in the first half. It's only a 3-point game. We go down and score, and that's what we did.
There was the call that got called the defensive holding on the field goal that he missed late in the second half on the Raiders that gave you guys
pull and shoot.
Yeah, is that? I'm not asking you to talk about that particular call, whether it was right or wrong, and obviously it was a relief for you guys. But what's the mechanics of you got to coach guys not to do that because they look for it in some situations?
Yeah, it's everybody has different techniques that they use to try to get free up guys. You can't be blatant with it. Sometimes you're going to drive a guy, subtly pull them, but you can't blatantly pull a guy out. And I think that's what they saw. And it's a call. It doesn't get called very often. We were fortunate that it got called in that situation where we missed the field goal. That was a big deal. That was a big one.
Hey guys.
All right. Coach. Thanks.
Thank you.
How are y'all doing?
Good morning.
VCU? Nice. Whatever Tiny's got to let's have nothing open to say. We're excited about playing Buffalo. We know the challenge we're facing. Maybe we know it's the stiffest challenge we probably had to this point, and hopefully we'll be ready to match it with that all opening up.
Steve, I asked you last week how the game plan changed once you got up in Tampa big early.
Right.
So now the other side of it. Did anything change
this past week?
Once you got behind?
Not really. It was it was grinding. Look, at that point, you're trying to, from the defensive standpoint, right, is trying not to allow them to get any more points on the board and let our offense get going. No, I mean, listen, they burrow up and play ball. They scored on the 4th and 1. That was, probably a bad call on my part. Put the guys in a tough situation, so it's a quick one out of the blocks there. And then I forget how the other ones happened, but yeah, we were down 17-0 or something. Yeah. No, we got to grind away at that point. Nothing special other than stick to the game plan and let's play better.
The fact that you guys have been so good at coming back from big deficits with the pad at quarterback, does that make your job a little easier in those situations?
I'm not sure it does, to be all. I mean, listen, that's great to have, but when you're behind, I don't think our job's any different. It's not like we sit there and say, well, we're down 17-0. We can afford another 10 points because it's going to score. I mean, that's not I would say no. I mean, it's nice to, I will say this.
I mean, easier to stick to the game.
Yeah, I will say this. You go in at halftime and we're down. Listen, guys, we just do our job. We know our offense is you know what I mean? There is that. So I think our guys have a lot of confidence, and if we can get it back to balance by us keeping them out of the end zone or off the scoreboard, that our offense is going to do something to come
So
back.
what do you tell Chris Jones now after that play the other night and your other pass rushers? Stay away
Yeah.
from the quarterback?
No, I hope not. Listen, there's plenty of videos out there that the NFL gives us on the right way. I show them most every Saturday night, not always tackling the quarterback. It might be DPI and what we're supposed to do. It might be what we're not supposed to do and hold. I mean, there's a 2 or 3 minute session of that every Saturday night. So we're always just pounding the rules and got to follow them and do them better, I guess. I mean, listen, I'm not going to comment on it because
No.
it's over and done, but yeah,
At what
I
point-
feel your frustration.
I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just wondering at what point you worry about your guys maybe backing off a little bit.
That's a
just
good point.
because
That's a good point. I hope that doesn't happen.
If that's
Yeah.
a penalty, there's probably a lot of things are going to be.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we keep playing.
Steve, your run game, you obviously hold the team to 3 yards in.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs comes in.
Yeah.
What are you trying to address with the run defense?
Yeah, listen, I give them credit. We actually did anticipate that they were going to run some of those downhill eye runs. I thought we'd do better against them. If you go back and listen, we can always do this. I can make myself feel better by saying this. The 37-yarder, if we don't miss the tackles, it's a 7-yard gain. And there was a 13-yarder in there, and there was a 20-yard in there. We got out of a gap, and if we tackle it, so then all of a sudden I do the numbers, and it's not as bad. But if you're going to give up 3, it was either our explosive runs are 10 or more, and if you're going to give up 3 or 4 of those, that's going to add up. Now, I believe. If I have it right, on at least 2 of the explosive runs, we were able to at least hold them to a field goal, which is a semi-win, because usually those explosive plays lead to more points than that. So there was a positive to take from that, but I certainly hope we're better against the run game.
One thing from the other night, the last play of the game, you had guys cramped, hurt, and some guys who had not been in the game at all. What's your kind of fear factor when you've got guys who haven't been out there trying to make that play, and how proud were you that they got the job?
Yeah, I was very proud. Josh Williams over there, I know the 2 receivers bumped into each other, but Josh did a really good job of pressing number 1 to kind of help create that. We didn't blink, I can tell you that. We were just calling what we thought was the best thing to win that down at that time, and just having the confidence in the guys that were in there to execute it, and they did a nice job.
What do you learn when a team, for their own circumstance, goes to 6 offensive linemen, and how that may change,
Yeah.
in particular with the run game and maybe some play action involved?
Yeah, I mean, we anticipated it. We thought maybe they would do that because there's a lot of teams in the league now. Tight ends are sometimes better at catching the football and running routes than blocking, so a lot of teams are doing that. We were aware that they were coming in. We thought we were calling, defenses to address that. Didn't quite execute them like we wanted to, and maybe we got to have a better plan on that. But that's always in the the back of our mind or in the forefront. I mean, the Bills could do the exact same thing this coming week.
Coach, this may have been a better question if Rashad was a little healthier, but has Jalen done enough to keep his role in the rotation? Had Rashad?
He's certainly done enough to be in there somewhere. I mean, he's proven that he deserves to be out there. You said Trent, yeah. And we'll see how that unwinds, but it's nice. Sometimes there's a silver lining, right? The injury we had to Trent, we didn't want that, but we found out a little bit about Jalen, and that's a good thing.
Steve, speaking of
I tried.
I know.
I tried.
Steve, speaking of Rashad, it seems like things just haven't been going his way. You know, he's tasked to guard the best receiver out there. What's the
Yeah.
conversation like with him?
Nothing. I mean, listen, Rashad's a corner that his confidence doesn't get shattered, and he'll go back out there and play it the exact same way. You know, both Rashad and Jalen in the game had instances where they got to play it a little bit better. I was talking about these NFL officials videos that I show them on Saturday, and they do show the right way to play in those. And you know, they got to look for the football now. We talk about that, and hopefully we get better at it.
What kind of challenges Diggs and Gabe Davis?
Yeah. What kind of a challenge? Ultra tough. I mean, they got two of them, and listen, the guy with the ball in his hands that's firing it to him is pretty good too. Both vertical guys, both guys that you got to be concerned with the big play. And I think Josh Allen's always looking for the big play. So it's like on every down. It's not like a third down thing. You know, hopefully we maintain our depth and don't give up the explosive passes, because that's when, you know, the explosive passes and the explosive runs lead to points allowed. And our biggest focus is just on the points allowed. That's the biggest thing for
What are
us.
the coaching points against Josh Allen when you know he can get you deep, but also is like basically a running back? In
Yeah, be deeper than the deepest for the guys on the back end, for the hold down, because he extends the down, and the guys up front, be relentless in your pass rush, because he'll hold it and run around back there, and if you give him a half a second and you're not relentless, he's gonna uncork one deep, and then it becomes a jump ball, and the two guys that you just mentioned are really good at it, and it becomes a challenge for the back end guys.
Where's your philosophy? And it looked like maybe Snead kind of maybe trailed a little bit late with Devontae Adams.
Yeah, we did do
I know
that.
you lose a little bit of, you know, to disguise some things when you do that. But
Yeah. Good observation on your part, because we did that a little bit last week. We pick our spots in games, before games. Dave, Merritt, and I are always talking about it. Listen, the one thing about LJ is he loves a challenge. So when you say, hey, go take that guy, he's more than willing to do it. So going forward, we'll see where we are with the other teams.
and how was McDuffie look to you?
Yesterday, wasn't a full speed practice, and it's been a bunch of walkthroughs, so it's hard for me to decipher that right now. We'll have a better idea after today.
You mentioned Josh Allen kind of scrambling around, but they do some straight runs with him as well.
Yes,
Uh,
quarterback designated runs.
A
Yeah,
lot of those runs, and usually big kind of play
Yeah.
times, right? Third downs. and stuff.
yeah, usually in critical situations, right? And then he's done them against us here, early 3rd and 2s or 4th downs. And listen, we're game planning, hopefully to stop it. I'm sure they'll have things off of that. He's a beast, running with the football. He's big, jumped over LJ. We were watching that one this morning. I don't know if you guys remember. I can't remember if it was the playoff game but he's the real deal. I got a lot of respect for him. He's really good.
Last two, Matt and Haley.
What have you learned the last few games about Darius Harris? And when Willie gets back, what is kind of a spot for him, a role for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, we talked about Jalen, but Darius certainly has proven that he deserves to be out there, and that we all have confidence in him, and we have to go to him. I think we talked about this before. We were always very confident in his mental aspect of the game. He's shown that, and then he has shown up in his tackling. He gets better and better, and again, maybe there's a little blessing there too. I mean, we didn't want to lose Willie, but we did, and now we have a better idea of what Darius can do.
Coach, not to keep bringing up the deficit from last week, but if you get a deficit against Josh Allen, it's not a knock on Derek Carr, but it might be a little harder to come back. And Reed was saying yesterday that Pat was kind of the guy who kept everyone without getting panicked on the offensive side. So who's that on the defensive side? Who's the player who keeps everyone in that knock?
I think it's kind of a group effort. I know all the coaches are involved in that. Or I do think, and going back to the point we were making earlier, I do think we all have confidence that our offense can find a way to eventually get some points. But at some point, we can't allow it to keep creeping up. I think all the players kind of take it. I can't really pick one out. Nick obviously, is a leader, and a bunch of those D linemen, and L'Jarius is kind of a voice of reason on the back end. Juan's been really good there too. So
Thanks, everyone.
good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
this right here. Good afternoon. Hope all is well. I thought our guys did an outstanding job when faced with adversity early in the game and finding ways to overcome some adverse situations. I thought we had the intestinal fortitude to overcome it, and our guys found a way collectively to come away with a victory, and it was an impressive team victory. Kudos to the Las Vegas Raiders. I thought they did an outstanding job, but I'm glad we found a way to drag our asses across the finish line together. With that said, I'm all ears.
You guys faced the Bills a couple of times last year, and they look like they made some more improvements, like particularly in pass rush, I guess. But how do they look different this year than the last on defense?
You know what? They're looking good. Obviously, you can't go without taking a peek at Von Miller and everything that he brings to the table. Obviously, in our opinion, he's probably a future Hall of Famer that does an outstanding job. Here's a guy that's had a lot of success in his career, and obviously he can share some of that wisdom with some of the younger players that he's playing with. But that defense is strong. Obviously, they have a great head coach, Tom McDermott. I've known since '99. I've also known the defensive coordinator, Coach Les Frazier, since '99. We even worked together in Minnesota. So I know the system in which they implement. Those guys do a great job of implementing it. On top of that, their guys go out there and play fast. That's the impressive thing. And they very seldom, if at all, make mistakes. So it's about our offense going out and out executing what they do schematically.
Eric, what is it about your team that has this propensity to keep coming back from double-digit deficits? And what have you seen from Patrick specifically that just knows that he just really raises his game up a notch when that happens?
Yeah, so first of all, we always talk about, discuss just living in the moment and making sure that our guys understand the importance of today. Tomorrow can't happen if we don't take care of business today. You know, just like today. Today is about situational football with the short yardage and goal line, our third down. Those are the emphasis, and we understand those are important pieces to helping us to obtain the victory on Sunday. But we want our guys to focus on that today, live in this moment so we can give ourselves the best opportunity to go out and execute on game day. Now, as far as talking about Pat does a heck of a job of just his preparation and how he prepares, his mental preparation, you know, as far as studying, knowing exactly what type of schemes we're seeing and what to anticipate. But on top of that, the way we physically practice, we practice at game speed. You know, everything is about going full speed, giving our guys an opportunity to make sure that we're rehearsing what we expect to do on Sunday. And so, you know, we have a great head coach. We have a great culture in what we do. So we like where we're at, and it just gives our guys an opportunity to live in the moment because of their mental and physical preparation. And that gives us the ability to go out there and play. You don't like spotting 17 points, but our guys understand it's all about living in the moment. We can't come back unless we take care of the next play. And that's by far the most important thing. And then we can focus on the next one and keep it moving after that.
You guys are clearly mixing running backs. Clyde has had his games. Isaiah had his moments. Last game it was Jet. Fair to say that, you know, in the committee, it's kind of hot hand. If the guy's playing well, we're going to keep riding him.
Oh, yeah. I thought Jared did a great job of just setting it off. You know, that 30-yard run or so that he did earlier, that set the tone, set the tempo, picked our guys up. It was the spark that we needed. And from that point on, obviously, Jared contributed and did a heck of a job. But it was good. It's always good when you have a good group of football players that, you know, love and respect each other because they understand, hey, he just made a play. Let's keep riding with him and see exactly what unfolds. So it was fun to watch. But on top of that, we also know, hey, next week or this particular week, and it could be Clyde, it could be Pacheco, it could be Burt. It could be Pat making plays with his legs. It could be McCole. So next man up.
Yeah, as a former player, you know what it's like to play in games where you're not 100%. That appears to be the case with McCole. Just how do you use your coaching and your playing experience to sort of get him to be effective, even if he's not touching the ball as much as you guys maybe would anticipate if he is fully healthy?
When it's all said and done, our job is to make sure that our guys understand the expectations. Our goal is to win. And so regardless of whether the numbers or touches are coming to you, we're a team. And so you guys have heard me talk about this before. We don't talk about numbers. That's not the important thing. It's about what are we going to do each and every day to help us to obtain the most important alphabet in this business, and that's a W. And so we just want our guys to make sure that they're doing everything under the sun, mentally preparing themselves, physically taking care of themselves, and doing whatever they need to do, whether it's in the training room or in the weight room or in the cold tub or whatever, also taking care of business while they're at home. And so regardless of what role, players may seem to have or not have, every role is by far the most important because they're helping the piece of the puzzle. They're helping to basically come together and make this thing go. I thought McCole did a heck of a job this weekend. Probably one of his better games that he played, this entire season. And the thing that was impressive more than anything was what he did when the ball was not in his hands. Just some of the perimeter blocking. Those are the things that stand out, not just to me, but to us as an offense. And those things help spark us.
Eric, you talking about getting things going. I think in the first half, the numbers were 3 sacks and 6 pressures. In the second half is 1 sack, 1 pressure. They do something to surprise you. Is that just part of setting them up with the overall play calling scheme as to why they were so effective early and you got a hold of it later?
I like to say we set them up. But they got game records. Those guys, and give Josh McDaniels and Pat Graham their credit as well. And those guys played their tails off. Just like I discussed last week, Crosby is a game record. Chandler Jones is a game record. Those guys did a hell of a job. And, that defense, they did some things that not so much caught us off guard, but they were just playing better than us. Our guys finally settled down and just lived in the moment and finally said, you know what, let's just play this one play and see what happens. Then we'll line up and play the next play and see what happens. Our guys started getting in the rhythm. We started living in the moment. We wasn't stressing anything. We just found a way to play one play at a time. And when it was all said and done with, we found a way collectively to win it.
And then philosophically, going for it on 4th down, we saw McDaniels go long, right? And that would be effective. So often teams are they want to get that first down and they don't use that whole stretch of the field. Like, is that a part of, I know you guys are fairly aggressive when it comes to going for it on 4th down, but is that something you have to remind yourself? We do have the whole field. And what was your reaction when you saw him take that shot when he, didn't have to go down there?
Well, and here's the thing. In this day and age, it seems like everybody's being a little bit more aggressive these days. So we expect it at all times because when it's all said and done, when everybody wants to give themselves the best chance of winning, and regardless of what the number said, if they're feeling pretty good, 9 out of 10, they felt that they can get it done. So they didn't get it done, but our job was to make sure that we can finish the game. And I thought that we did an outstanding job of doing the little things that we needed to do to help us to accomplish the goal.
You use the whole field, though, on 4th down?
Oh, yes. You have to. You have to. And I don't want to give all the secret sauce away now.
I know you guys got the ball kind of 4-minute offense, got 1 first down, then didn't get it done, get that second one. I couldn't quite see a good enough replay. On the second down play, was there room to cut back for Clyde to make that 3rd and shorter? Or just what was your feeling in the way you guys performed in that 4-minute offense?
As a former running back coach, you'll always hear me say there's always an open lane somewhere, and there's somewhere to be found where we can make something happen. Like I said, I'm going to give credit to where credit is due. Those guys defensively did a hell of a job. Obviously, would we have liked to have been better? Yes. Clyde would have liked to do some things a little bit better? Yes. But kudos to them. They did a hell of a job of making the play, which gave us an opportunity to kick the ball to them and see our defense hold up and just make plays and end the game the way we did. Like I said, I thought it was a great, outstanding team win, and something that that is uplifting because our guys did a great job of overcoming adversity together and sticking through it. And that was the thing that was impressive about this past weekend.
We've talked before about the fact that you're going to get everybody's best shot, that their most emotional investment each week. for you guys, it's hard to maintain that for 17 games. So how do you as a coach manage that and know when these guys need to be pushed, like a couple of weeks ago, and when you need to back off and just let them figure it out?
We remind them every single day. They hear it from me every single day because we know just because of the success that we've had. And we know that we're going to get everybody's best shot. And the only way that you can remain ready is by working the way we do. And so we have to physically and mentally prepare our guys to make sure that they understand this is probably going to be the most physical game, the most physical and stressful game in a sense, whereas you're going to have to overcome all issues that we're going to be faced with. But our guys understand that going into this week, just like they do any other week. And so when they're faced with that, that's why we don't stress when we're down by X amount of points. It's all about living in the moment and making sure that our guys have the ability, the capability of coming back when under duress. All right. Thank you. Okay.